Collective. The theme of today's reading is number 17, Forager, and the key word is self-reliance. And I feel like Spirit is saying it's time for a shift in perspective relative to the problem you're facing, and that is this. The solution doesn't already exist. You are meant to create it. So, what if you knew for a fact, hypothetically, that the solution to your problem was not out there in the world or in the ethers, right? Waiting for you, hiding from you. It's not somewhere out there. The solution to your problem is something you're meant to create. In fact, it is tied to your purpose. And you're already the kind of person who can create the solution to this problem. You're intelligent, you're quick-witted, you're adaptable and mutable and creative. So, what would it change? How would it change your approach if you thought of the solution to your problem as something you need to create rather than something you need to find? It's a subtle shift that can make a very big difference. Now, I love how in this card we have not only a woman and a child, but also a fox. So fox energy is coming through very strongly for you. But there's a sense of togetherness here. And when I look at this card, I feel like the energy is, we've got this. We will find a solution. We will create a solution. And I think that's fascinating because, again, the key word is self-reliance. There's a powerful message here. When you rely on yourself, that does not automatically mean you cannot rely on anybody else. It just means you rely on yourself. In fact, self-reliance includes trusting yourself to reach out to other people when you need them. Self-reliance includes trusting yourself to receive help, support, guidance when it's needed. So, ironically, true self-reliance organically leads to collaboration. This is the exalted form of self-reliance. Most people think of self-reliance in its shadow state. That is a sense of loneliness and a sense of burden. Like I have to rely on myself and myself alone because either no one else is there for me or I can't trust anybody else. That's not true self-reliance. That's pain. And that is completely valid in and of itself. That is another exploration in and of itself entirely. That's not this. The highest expression of self-reliance leads to connection. So I just feel like Spirit is saying, first and foremost, acknowledge within yourself just how capable you are as a creator being. You are fully capable. You have every quality you need within yourself. You have every resource you need at your fingertips in order to create a positive outcome. You are fully capable. And part of this self-reliance and self-responsibility and self-awareness includes finding other like-minded people and working with them. When you imagine all of the self-reliant, empowered, confident, resourceful people pooling their energy together, it becomes very apparent that nothing is impossible. All right, let's go into tarot. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot. So there is also a new moon in Sagittarius coming up on December 1st. That's just a couple days from now. And that energy is definitely present. Sagittarius is the philosopher of the zodiac, right? So there's an invitation here for you to be more mutable with your thinking. I feel like this goes beyond open-mindedness. Being mutable with your thinking. It feels to me like it's this deep understanding that anything is possible. And there's always something that you don't know, And that's not a hindrance. It's actually very exciting. So Sagittarius is also the explorer of the zodiac. There's an invitation for you to explore new ideas, new ways of thinking, forming new connections, putting together elements that you usually wouldn't, being willing to be messy, because messiness is a key ingredient in true creation. What you're creating right now is new pathways in your mind, new pathways of thinking, new pathways of seeing, which ultimately leads to new ways of being. Where do we go from here, Spirit? All right. What else does the collective need to know or do at this time? Highest and best messages for the collective. I was just gonna say, I swear, I was just gonna say, I know this card is number 17, which technically reduces to the number 8. But for some reason, my brain keeps fixating on the number 7, and it was just 7 minutes on the timer. And now we have the 7 of Pentacles. I was going to say the number 7 is very significant right now. I feel like you're just on the edge. You're on the edge of realizing that in order to create what you want and bring about what you want, you fundamentally have to start thinking in new ways. The sun, new life, is on the other side of that. Of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, the way that you think about life, the way that you perceive things, and the way that you interpret things, the meaning that you give everything dictates everything. That dictates your entire experience of reality, because the meaning you give things, which is thought and belief, that dictates how you feel about it, which dictates the actions you take. So if you change your perspective about life or a particular situation, it's just inevitable that new, fresh energy will come in as a result of that. It's all coming together in my mind. It's like, yeah, full circle. Again, going back to what I said at the beginning, if you think about your challenges that you face, or just life in general, as an opportunity to create, right? You're not meant to find solutions per se, you're meant to create them. That means, by definition, that there is no fixed outcome for anything. Man, this is such Sagittarius energy. I love this. For those of you who don't know, I am a Sagittarius, and I feel like I'm uncovering a new layer of my own energy here. Well, maybe that's true for you too. I love this idea that objective reality or source is not something that we're catching up to. God, fill in the blank with whatever you resonate with. It's not something that we're catching up to. It's something that we're creating in real time. What's the challenge that the collective is facing right now? What's the primary challenge that the collective is facing right now? The Hierophant. Yep. Tradition. Well, yeah, this is rigid, old ways of thinking, the way it's always been, the way it's always been done. Very harsh, constrictive energy. This is lack of freedom. The Hierophant in its shadow state would be, hiding the truth. There's something about hiding the truth. Okay, the powers that be, hiding the truth from the masses, the collective at large. Because the truth is, we create reality. We're not catching up to it again, right? Maybe there is no ultimate truth. It's kind of, this is super philosophical. It's bringing me back to something that I contemplated right before I started this channel. It's a question I had to face within myself in order to even be able to create this channel in the first place. And that is, what is the meaning of life? We're going super existential. Okay. And what I landed on is that there is none. The meaning of life is to give it meaning. The meaning of life is to create the solutions, right? Not find them. It's a similar resonance, a similar frequency there. The challenge is to disrupt the tradition that lives within yourself. The powers that be, whatever that means, whether it's your dad or the church or the government, however micro or macro you want to take this, the powers that be, that tell you how to be, they live within you. You have to be able to resolve them in here first, because freedom of thinking is freedom. So you have to address the limiting beliefs that you hold within yourself that prevent you from stepping into your full creator power. What's the advice? What's the advice here, Spirit? Okay, Eight of Swords. Butterfly energy is coming through. Break free of your own limitations. by recognizing them for what they are. Every single belief is technically a limiting belief, right? I feel like that's a whole nother tangent I could go down. You kind of either get it or you don't. Every belief is a limiting belief in some capacity. The question really is not, is this belief I have a limiting belief? The question is, does this belief serve me? Right? Do the beliefs you hold serve you? There's no right or wrong. There's no morality here. No good or bad. It's just objective questioning. Is the way I'm thinking about the world helping me or not? That's the question to ponder. Speaking of questions, let's go into a journal prompt from my journal prompt deck. I'm super curious to see what comes through. Journal prompt for the collective spirit. 1616 on the timer there. Ha ha ha. Okay, wait, there were 3 that came out, but one I saw first. Yeah, we're gonna go with this one. The most existential question in this tarot deck, or in this journal prompt deck. Number 47, another 7. What would you do differently if you knew you would live forever? Okay, this is like my twist on the classic question you've probably heard in some variety before. What would you do if you knew that you only had like a month left to live? Or what would you do if you knew that you would pass tomorrow? What would you do if you knew you had very limited time left, right? This is my twist on that. What would you do differently if you knew you would live forever? I feel like each and every one of you is going to have such a profoundly different exploration with that and response to that. I'm not even going to try to guess what it would be. I've thought about it for myself, though, and the last time I thought about it, which was like a year ago, the answer I arrived at was that I would basically go fully into one identity at a time. So I would like go down the track, let's say, the path of becoming a professional dancer. 100%. Like just commit 100% to that identity as far as it took me, all the way to completion. And then something else, and then something else, and something else. It's like full immersion into different costumes or identities. What else is there to do? If you have infinity to play, I don't know what else there is to do. But answer that question for yourself. All right, let's get a closing message from a compendium of Witch's Oracle. I feel something about mother energy, potentially crone energy, or a combination of the two coming through right now. Wisdom is knowing how much you don't know. That's for sure. Number 58, mirror. Let's see what the guidebook says. Your life starts and ends with you. Okay. Reflection, inner self and surface. Reflective surfaces such as mirrors, water bowls, and crystals have been used in the art of divination throughout history by various cultures to obtain visions and reach the spirit world. The mirror card invites us to scry into the water and beyond its surface in order to look further towards our inner self. Accepting that appearances can be a false visage is the first stroke of this deep dive. Not all is what it seems. Maybe you are not what you seem. Make of that what you will. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for letting me read for you and for bearing with me through this existential wave. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful or thought-provoking. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I would love to hear from you. I'll put this journal prompt in the description box along with several others, so be sure to check those out. They'll help you to process all of this and take your inner work a little bit deeper. All right, I'll see you next time. Happy new moon!